All right, guys, doing a little bit of a sound check here. This is a little bit different. I'm outside. Uh, we've got the class going on. So I've decided to come out here and talk to you guys a little bit. There's some work going on in the distance. I don't think you're able to hear that. You should just be able to hear me. Um, Beautiful day down here at Sawgrass, Jacksonville. Nice and sunny. Having a great time. Can't hear any of the background. That's great. Okay, so we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. And got train and trade going on. This is usually the time that I go through and look through some of the big news items. And I think most of the news right now is focused on, hey, remember what happened last weekend? How's the market reacting to it? So we got Broadcom doing well. We got news on them with uh, custom chip deal with OpenAI. So I think Intel's probably going to be involved in that one. GoFundMe is talking a little bit about stuff. People are crowdfunding groceries. That's interesting. Stock stage comeback. Um, and then JP Morgan talking. Of course, financials are going to be the big issue. We got financial earnings coming up. So, going to be some wide open market environment as we start hitting some of those earnings, as we start getting some of the news coming in. We know that we've got a bit of a fragile market, but that fragile market is showing off some of its strength at the moment. It's just not really following through on it. So we're not getting a lot of follow through. You can kind of understand why with everything up in the air. There's a lot left to be learned about this market. And what we do on Mondays is we sit back and we learn. We try and see what the market has to show for us. Remember, this is the week start, right? So we figure out what this market is up to. Now, financials, we got banks closed today. It's a holiday for banks. So a little bit of a different setup. We'll see how that plays out. But we're kind of lacking information while almost having too much at the same time. So that's where this market is. And the big question is, where does it go next? We're figuring that out moment by moment as you watch the market develop this morning through RB3, through the Genesis bar, and keep going on into what's next. How does Monday look? How does Tuesday look? Develop the market, and when it shows you what you want to see, attack. But until you get that, you got to wait and be patient. So, this is a market that should really test your patience as it continues to figure out what it is. Now, I don't have my exact timer on me right now because I'm kind of split on the computers, but we're going to get the music coming up probably in about a minute or so. We'll see how that plays out. Right now, though, you got to keep watching the news. You got to keep watching the market, but you have to keep being patient. It is Monday. Every Monday, you try and figure out what the market's doing. Monday is the setup day. What do we say about Tuesday? Tuesday trade day, right? So we're looking to get this market set, looking to get everything ready to go. That's the purpose. And as you sit here and train and trade, Tom's going to talk to you a little bit about what we're seeing in the market and what we're looking for to change what we're seeing into something actionable. So, this is what we've got. This is where we are. Patience and wait. And on that note, I think we're about ready to play some music. I'm going to go ahead and mute up a little bit, and I'll be back with you guys shortly.
close. T-Buzz sits where the ticker flows, a coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. He watches the charts like the stars in the sky, looking for answers, a reason, a why. Some call it luck, some call it skill, but Tom just calls it paying the bills. Through the red and the green, he's danced with a line. Every loss and each win, a tale of his time. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me okay? All right, let me get to it here. Last night I was telling everybody they need to learn futures, and we had a meeting at 9 o'clock last night, and we went long, and the target was 67.05. Somebody tell me what the high of the day is. And who made that trade from last night's futures? Because you know, this is what I'm trying to show people. The T-Buzz 3-step, it's a trade. This class, we went over it a couple times this morning, and you know, you got to do it about 9 o'clock at night. Who made the trade? Who made the trade? Neil made it. Carrie did. All right, so I got some winners there. Way to go, guys. Shirley did. Super deal. But anyway, so the pitch that I gave everybody last night, I'm going to keep it alive today, okay? And David, you know, he learned futures from me also. He just made 2,500 on silver. David, we were talking about you in this class. You really picked up a lot being down here and doing it. So congratulations to you. Way to go. In my opinion, if you're trading, you ought to be shot if you don't use futures, in my opinion. I'll just be straight. If you're trading anything without understanding the futures market, you probably ought to be shot, okay? You can cut your losses and do everything if you learn what I teach you on futures. Market direction, I prove that on SPX and everything else, how important it is to understand market direction. And I believe we're in the golden age of silver. I told you we're going to go to 50. And by the way, silver, just for the records, at 50.37 this morning. Now I got another one for you. I think silver is going to go somewhere between $60 and $75 an ounce. That would get it back to where gold is. And so that's the next stop on this, the golden age of silver, $60 to $75. Okay. I hope that helps you. Weekly newsletter. I've covered it numerous times. We'll post it today after the close. $9.99 for a year. Maybe it's too much. $9.99. You want to snap something at the cheap price? That's it. The retirement count. We'll meet on. I think we said Friday. We'll try to meet this Friday. Okay. You can join that. 2:45, right. If you want a referral to Tasty Trade, Jonathan Rowe will handle it. Rowe at DTI Trader. The gold program, I talk about it every time I meet. If you want to save money, get the services. That's what it costs you to buy it individually. If you buy the gold program, you get a year's worth of all those services and able to take advantage of every trade we do. If you look at the math, it makes a lot of sense. Take a look at it. Talk to Kelly Barber, Jeffrey Ondraka, and Corrine. She'll help you. October stocks. Jonathan, you want to take this one?
Yep, just getting it updated. We'll figure out this echo and there we go. We got it. Okay. Just waiting on a few more stocks to load in here on my roadmap, and I can update the spreadsheet momentarily. All right, let's see here. Monday, October 13th. It is 11:09 Eastern. Let's see if I can get this to work and actually see the columns. There we go. The S&P is short below its FTD low. 6680 is the first 3-day low. Does that sound familiar? All of you T-Buzz TV folks, that's today's pivot. Daily pivot.
And let's just stop and think about that. If the number one rule that I teach is 75% of all stocks follow the S&P, it probably tells you you don't want to be buying things cheap right now. Okay. That's what that's telling me. And you'd have to get above our, you'd obviously have to get above the monthly open, even consider it. And the monthly open's at 67.25.
Any questions on what Tom just said? Does everyone understand what Tom just said? Everybody paying attention? Type yes into the chat if you heard what Tom just said about we're not fishing, we're not trying to buy the lows here. Yep. Okay, good. 66.80, today's pivot. What else we got here? We got gold and silver, of course, strong. Tom just talked about silver. Spreadsheet tells you what you already know. Apple's below its 3-day low. 3-day low on Apple's 254. It's down at 247. AMD's above 3-day high. Of course, AMD had that big gap up, so it would take a lot of downside pressure for AMD to go switch off from being labeled long on the spreadsheet. So there's a little bit more to the story there for AMD. Micron is above its month open. If it can get above 91.85, it'll be looking real good. NVIDIA, same story. It's above its month open, needs to be above 91.05. Tesla and Palantir are below their 3-day lows right now. Month open on Tesla is 444. Month open on Palantir is 181. I'll repost the slides in just a moment. As we cycle down the list right now, just a reminder, the S&P is below its 3-day, the Nasdaq's in between. So as you go down the spreadsheet, you see more of a Christmas tree pattern, right? Reds and greens, reds and greens. Not a lot of clarity in the markets on this spreadsheet or as we go to the live market here in a few minutes. Okay, I'll repost the slides. This is Training Trade. We go every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If we do any trading during the session, they will be tracked in Tom's TNT program. You can get there by dtitrader.com/TNT. All right, today's focus is what Columbus Day means for the markets. And today is Columbus Day. Stocks remain open, bonds are closed, banks are closed. Historical insights are not a lot. Most Columbus Days are quiet for the market. I mean, they're positive more times than not. Right? That's probably to be expected. But it only gains about a few tenths of a percent on average. All right, in other words, when banks are closed but stocks are open, volume comes down and the market tends to shift slightly higher. So not a lot of directional trading is to be done on a day like today. We have a holiday, Columbus, but it's also a Monday. We know Monday's a watch day. So in terms of strategies using in the markets, Tom's already mentioned it in the class this morning, he's more likely to sell premium on a day like today rather than buying outright options. Sell premium or trade maybe some micro futures if you're familiar with that. All right, so after last Friday, this Columbus Day is far from ordinary, right? We had a market last Friday that went down 3 to 4% in a day, which sets up the potential for a down Friday, down Monday phenomenon there. But we always follow the numbers. We never make any assumptions. We always follow the numbers. So let's discuss some key price levels on the S&P. If you were there last night at the planning session, Tom mapped that out for us. I know some of you probably weren't there last night. Maybe you're busy. Maybe you haven't had a chance to catch the recording. Maybe you don't know that Tom does a planning session on Mondays or on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. If you don't know that, and you're here on the YouTube channel, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Tom holds a planning session. We stream it on YouTube. So here are those key numbers. I'll start at the top. Tom, 67.25. We know that's the month open. We can put another price level in here, 67.05. That was today's high. See if I can do that in real time here. Below 67.05, we have 66.95. Now, 66.95, Tom said last night would be important, and that came into the focus this morning. We topped out this morning so far at 95. 66.75 is the level after that. Then 66.45. 45, you'll hear Tom say, is the most important number in the market. 45. There it is, 66.45. And 66.32, you should recognize that as being last night's open. So the weekly open, 66.32. Market falls below that, it's going to try to trek towards 6,600. Take a snapshot of this slide if you need to, or just save the slides if you need to. Those are great numbers to start the week. As the week unfolds, we'll kind of see if we need to have more numbers. And since Friday was such a bearish market, it went down to 65.40. It kind of begs a question, and Chuck Crow in the class this morning asked the question, when's the last time the S&P was below 6,500? And so we went and found out. And the last time the market was below 6,500 was in September. All right, and here at DTI, we always track the opening prices. All right, when a market's in a falling environment, usually we go to the opens. We say, okay, where's the monthly open? Or, very short term, where's the weekly open? Where's the monthly open? In this case, the question was, when's the last time the S&P was below 6,500? It was in September of 2025. So naturally, the first thing we say is, okay, where did we open in the month of September? It happened to be at 64.78. And so that is a potential key number, key level in the market. If we make a new low below Friday's low of 65.40, which happens to be the prior day low from today, and it happens to be the prior week low. So 65.40 is a very important level that would indicate further downside is ahead. And the next key level down is 64.78. So you have your immediate numbers here on the slide, a few slides prior. Tom mapped out last night. If the downside pressure intensifies, you know that 65.40 would be an indicator that that is happening, a drop below 65.40. And the next key level below that is 64.78, which is September's open. Any questions on all that? Tom, do you want to say a few words on what you're looking for in the market today?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I'm looking for really is a last hour summary, okay, of where the market's gonna end up, because they keep pushing back every time it tries to rally. When I'm talking about the market, I'm talking about the S&P market. They keep pushing it back, which means some of these stocks hit their tops and then trade down. I think it's too early here on Monday. I think we'll see things will get clearer by tomorrow morning. And the reason I say that is because we'll be about 72 hours after the event occurred. And the event I'm talking about is Friday, when the disruption in the communication between the U.S. and China, came to a head. And I think you just got to give it a little time, usually about a 72-hour time period. So I'm thinking about tomorrow we'll already have a good judgments as far as how to make money and when to make money, if that makes any sense. So that's what I'm thinking about, okay? And right now I wouldn't do anything, Debbie. I'd wait and see, patience. The one thing I would do, though, I would study what I'm teaching in futures. That's probably the best way you can help yourself. And I think futures are very powerful to read the market. For example, right now we got a pretty good handle on it. We got the frame identified 60 S&P wise, 66.95 to 66.75. And that is sort of telling us we've been in that range all morning long, so we got to break out of that range to see our next leg. Gold and silver are still strong, and that's what I take away from this morning's action and last night's action. All right, I want to do this pretty quick because the bottom line is I cut a deal for everybody that wanted on board last night to learn this week. I'll be back tonight at 7:30 for our training session and 9 o'clock for another setup for what I call a 3-step trade. The beautiful thing about that, you can do that trade every night at 9 o'clock and it pays. It paid last night 40, roughly, about 35 S&P points. Do the math on that, 35 S&P points, about $1,750. If you bought the micro, it'd be about $175, and that adds up too. But the point is, you learned my 3-step approach to trading the micro E-mini, and you're going to find yourself a better trader at the end of the year. And so what I did, I reduced the price of my online education on Sunday night because of the market turmoil. I still consider that we're in that phase. And if you want to join, you can join at $12.49. That's a full year. And what a time to be involved here, October, November, December. Plus, I'm putting the time in to really do it. Roger took the 3-step last night, repeat that, paid for a year and a half, up $1,600 on my 3-step move. It was simple, it's straightforward, and all you have to do is be there tonight, and I'll go back over it at 9 o'clock when we set up tomorrow's trade, which might be even bigger than that, Roger, okay? And so anyway, take it right here. Here's the deal, $12.49. Now, are they going to play what I said last night? Is that the plan? All right, so I'm gonna check out. I will raise this price back. 72 hours of market turmoil is what I said. So the price will go back up as early as tomorrow. Okay? So if you want it, get involved, get signed up, be in that Telegram channel tonight, and we'll have some fun with this trade. I don't know. It's like somebody offered you $30,000, $40,000, and you say, do I want to put up $12.49 to get the knowledge? Well, you have to make that decision. Y'all have a great day. Take it away. How many people have heard me say follow the E-mini futures? The reason I say that, folks, is because the E-mini futures, 75% of all stocks will trade with the E-mini futures. And if all the stocks, if the E-mini futures is moving higher, like tonight it's up 1%, you'll see stocks come up. Does everybody understand that concept? Okay. Follow the E-mini futures. Let me teach you how to follow that, folks. I've been trading for years. It's the most helpful thing I can probably do. Know the importance of the monthly open. The monthly open for October, write this number down. Don't forget it. Is 67.25. We're below that number right now, so we're not all in. Everybody understand that? The chips are pulled back when you're below that number. 67.25. Remember that number. Key numbers. All right, I'm gonna give you some numbers here that will help you navigate the current market. Y'all ready? Let me give it to you. We'll start at the low end, 6,600, 6,600, 6,632, 6,645, 6,675, 6,695, 6,725. That'll take you to the up. That last one is the monthly open. You can navigate any market using those numbers right there. Okay? Those are the numbers I'll be using until we break out of that range. Everybody got those numbers? Number 4, plan your trade. If you do a trade, here's what you got to know. Where are you going to enter it, right? I.e., if I'm going to enter the market to the long side, I got to know where I'm going to enter it. If I'm going to enter it to the short side, I got to know where I'm going to enter it. Okay? I got to know where I'm wrong. I got to know what my target is. Know the following. 55 points is the average true range. I mean, the S&P will move about 55 points on a normal day. Now, this is not a normal day. Okay? Got it? But 55 points is a ballpark number you need to know. That's planning your trade. Always use defined risk. Friday, when the market fell 170 S&P points from the high to the low, having a defined risk helps you keep your wits about you. Always, always have that exit door up front. That's why I like spreads. You play the market downside, use the put spread. Play the market at upside, you have a call spread. Use it. Defined risk will help you. This is important. Defined risk. Make sure anything in your account's got defined risk. You know if you lose totally what you're going to lose. Mistake I made in 1987. Let's go through the 10 questions I've been talking about. I thought these were good questions to be thinking about coming into the night. Did everybody see the questions posted in the rooms this weekend? Let me ask that question before I get started. The 10 questions. Okay. Number 1, what is the current state of the market? Turmoil. This is not a normal market. You don't see the market jack up a 1.5% and drop 3.5%. See, I would call it very unstable right now. Unstable markets lead to a lot of people losing a lot of money. The best thing to do, let it narrow, let that range narrow. But there's opportunity if you know what you're looking for. That's the current state of the market. What should you be watching? Here's what you should be watching. Those numbers I just gave you. I told you the current defined range, 66.32, 66.75. That's the current defined range for tonight. Okay? We have a tool inside the roadmap I'll use throughout this whole period. It's called the Money Maker. You'll see it posted sometime after 9 tonight. That's what you should be watching. When are the markets open? When are the stock markets or stocks open? Stocks are open right now. If you go look at your Schwab data feed, if you got a Schwab account, you will see stocks trading. How many people knew stocks were trading right now? This is something a lot of people don't know. They open at 8 o'clock. That's when stocks open. When are options open? Options on futures are open right now, but options on stock open at 9:30 tomorrow morning. 9:30 tomorrow morning. And they go to 4, some to 4:15. Okay? That's when options on equities are open. Options on futures are open right now. When do futures open? Futures open every night at 6 o'clock. It opened at 6 o'clock tonight. Futures have been trading for over 2 hours. That's when futures are open. Take notes. This is valuable information. This is what you need to know. What does the term limit down mean? Does everybody realize if the market sold off 7%, the market would stop trading? That's called limit down. 7%. That's the first stage of limit down. The second stage is approximately 10%, and the third stage is 20%. That's limit down. Okay? And there's the number. If we got down that low on the S&P, that stopped trading. So I want you to know this stuff. What are numbers that help you understand trend? Reference bar numbers, RB1. RB1 is 66.32 to 66.75. That helps you understand the trend. We're trading inside that right now. And if you're trading inside that, that means it's spinning. Does everybody understand that concept? 66.32 to 66.75. Okay. How many people knew about the limit down? They have limit downs for stocks too, but if the market gets out of hand, they'll stop trade. That's what they learned from 1987. Let people gather their air. How important is the monthly open? For me, the monthly open's everything. The monthly open is why I'm so successful teaching and trading with people, because I use that as my pivot number for the month. So if the monthly open is higher, 67.25, we're trading 66.60. I'm not putting a lot of equity positions on right now because of that, okay? Everybody got that? Monthly open. That's why you look at things, oil's below its monthly open, it's going down. That's an example. Gold is above its monthly open, going up. A real quick thing to say is, what is the monthly open of anything you're trading? To take a look at it. What's the worst mistake traders make? Everybody's got a lot of different ones. This is what I'm going to say. Getting into a trade outside your plan. That's the worst mistake you can make. In other words, all of a sudden you hear, this is good, and you go do something, you end up losing money, okay? Everybody got that? Have a plan. That's what we're here to do, doing. Williams is not following me, thank you, William. But really, the worst mistake, we're going to have a plan. Let's be decisive, but at the same time, let's have a plan. What tools does DTI have that we developed that helps you navigate any market turmoils? Two answers here. The Roadmap software, Roadmap to the markets. I can't trade without it. I'm looking at it right now. I got all my numbers, and I can look around and see exactly what everything means by looking at it. And the second one is MTI by DTI. It's something we developed for a quick and dirty slide, okay? Pretty good stuff, huh? So now these are the 10 questions. If you tune in, I've got a lot more questions this week I will pose to you throughout each and every day. Stay with me. Train and Trade tomorrow. I'll have some questions for you. Does people like what I'm doing here to teach you about stuff like this? Does this help you think about things? Huh? This is what I'm trying to do, is show you to have a process, part of my process. Let's talk futures plus education. My experience in futures goes back over 40 years. The reason I'm talking about futures, every one of you need to be with me in the futures and learn about it. I owned a brokerage firm. I've been a member of CME. I've taught futures for years. I think that I can teach you things you won't get out of the textbook from the School of Hard Knocks. I was part of the team that brought the DAX to America. The DAX is the German Dow, another way of saying that. It's up right now 0.29%, relatively not doing as well as the US market. Keep your eye on it. It will be the first thing that breaks. If we go higher, it will go higher. If it breaks lower, you know what time of night that happens? Take a guess what time of night that Dancing with the DAX becomes a reality. I'm going to give it to you. 4:30 RB2 is when the DAX becomes a reality. 4:30. Think about that. Love that DAX. I was a key marketer for it when they brought it to America, CME, and helped introduce the DAX to the retail market in America. A great experience of my life, working with the Eurex Exchange, working with CME, working with all the exchanges out of Chicago. I got selected to do that, and I learned a lot about what I call dancing with the DAX. If you ever watched a Fed meeting, the DAX always moves first. I don't know if you knew that. There's an insight for you. Write it down. I was one of only 50 people outside of Chicago hand selected to have an electronic trading terminal called Globex. This allowed me to see the market way before everybody else did electronically. Learn the power of news, learning everything about it. This is something that gave me an edge, really brought me back from 1987, but it allowed me personally to learn this 24-hour market. I quit teaching futures about 5-7 years ago. I started back about 2 years ago by request, and I love it. I love teaching people what I know about this market called futures. I trade it personally. I didn't think I'd talk much about futures in the futures, but I do. I do it every day through the E-mini. 2 years ago, that changed. I put a course together at the request of students, and you need to learn. You got to learn what I can teach you. If you don't do everything else, you get with me and learn about futures, and all of a sudden your accuracy will go up, your risk will go down, and you will be able to grow your account because I will teach you what it takes around the clock to use futures. I rebuilt our whole futures education program. It now includes options on futures. I love options on futures. I started hosting weekly sessions for a small group of committed traders. We meet every Monday night at 7. We expand our education. I lay out what I would consider the hot market of the week and how to take it. All sessions are recorded. The top students of those classes swear how it's revolutionary. I have a guy that Dave was here talking about silver. Dave started futures trading about 4 weeks ago, and it's amazing how all that other stuff out there gets pushed to the wayside, and he just crank it. Likes that silver. In fact, learning futures has grown his account substantially. I taught him what he needed to know, and he's still learning. Bill said, known me for over 15 years, you want to learn, you ought to learn from me. This guy's been with me a long time. I talked to him prior to doing this presentation. One of our great students, he's the one that created over there in the right-hand corner what I call the DTI salute. We made money. If we're all together, we'll all stand up and do that. It's pretty funny. He's the guy. Ron sent this love letter. Each day using my pivot number, and I saw people talking about it, keeps him safe whether the market's going up, down, or out. Knowing the pivot number, the place to buy or the place to sell, is so valuable to you. You don't have to listen to CNBC, you don't have to listen to anything. if you got that pivot number and know where the S&P is trading to it. I give it to you free every day. Take advantage of that. Tonight, we have a few. I've got something new I'm bringing to the table. I want you to listen. How many people would like me, Tom Busby, to show you how, with 3 simple steps, you can learn to trade what I call the Micro E-mini? How many people would like that, to educate yourself and lower your risk through 3 simple steps? You gotta know the time. I'm gonna teach you that. I'm gonna teach you, matter of fact, I'm gonna have my first class on that later on tonight at 9. I was thinking, let's make it simple. I'll show you what to look for. Well, folks, it's coming, and it's coming less than an hour from now. 3 steps, not the Texas 2-step, but the T-Buzz 3-step is going to show you how to take that in this particular market and grow your account. Now, you got to have a futures account. Now, here's a list of some of the classes we held so far. Look at all these classes we taught online. E-mini options, using options with futures, using gold options, education on how to sell puts and create income or calls on gold futures, using spreads with futures. By the way, did you know you can trade futures 25 times in a small account? You don't get a pattern day trade rule. Why is that? Because the farmers run futures. They're like sounder bunch, the farmers, rather than those Wall Street guys. Crude oil, I told you it's going to 45. It's en route for going to 45. Make some money there. I'll show you the trade. I think it's the trade of the year. Bonds, they're going higher. I got a strategy there. It's 1% strategy. It seems to be working pretty good. Not too late. They're going a lot higher as we go through this interest rate cycle. About the tune about 40%. Gold and silver together, working in together. E-mini and micro together. Telegram channel. We have a Telegram channel for this where we reach out to you throughout the week with key information. I used the Tasty Trade platform to teach it because it's so simple to use. The Tasty Trade bracket order is a very good way to go into any futures market and know how much you're going to lose, how much you're going to make. Pretty powerful stuff. MTI and roadmap, I'll show you how that plays into things. I call it futures first because it's so much more. Understanding futures is gateway to the rest of the stock market. In fact, the E-mini relates to the SPY. If you trade the SPY, you better learn the E-mini. Trade the QQQ, you better learn the NASDAQ. If you trade the Dow, you better learn the Dow future. If you trade crude oil, or if you trade USO, you better learn crude oil. If you trade silver, you better learn silver futures. If you trade bonds, you better learn TLT. This is how it works. They're correlated, and futures is always moving first before the stocks move. That's why I call it futures first. If the E-mini goes up, the SPY goes up. Go look at the SPY tonight. It's higher than where it was Friday afternoon because the E-mini's up. E-mini goes down, the SPY goes down. Simple concept, but it works. Futures Plus education class is ongoing. I'm continuing expanding our library every Monday night at 7 o'clock. We record it. So if you get to recording, you can do some good, can't you? The format for Futures Plus, we train on Monday night. And then at 9 o'clock that night, out of what I call the 7 sisters, I will highlight one of the futures market, and you go and you take the video, and this is how you trade it for the week. Pretty simple concept, but it works. I told you market turmoil. The E-mini was down 3.5%. The VIX was up 25 just on Friday. Nobody knows what it's going to do tomorrow, but I can tell you this. In the short term, the reference bars and futures are a marriage made in heaven. The annual cost is $17.49 for my online version, but I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do something tonight, not only for the existing members, but for any new member, so take advantage of it. That's the annual cost, $17.49 online, worth every cent of it. Because of the market turmoil, and I want to teach what I'm doing, and I'm going to have a lot of FaceTime with you this week. You can sign up if you're an existing member for another year, and new members can sign up at this heavily discounted price. But you got to act tonight. We start at 9 o'clock. You can join for $12.49 for a year. Notice I say it's a limited time offer. So if you're a current member, you want to add a year, do it tonight. I put this price because of this market turmoil, and I wanted to make sure that everybody that was out there could get in for a solid year with me to learn this stuff. That is a bargain. Yes, you can buy multiple years at this price tonight if you want to. Limited time offer. It includes 1 year of online trading, all the recordings, everything that's going to happen. It includes a bonus 5 master classes on Delta trading strategies. And this week only, you go to Telegram each night at 9 o'clock. Don't like scholarships, here it is. 9 o'clock for the Futures Edge for the next 24 hours. Goals included too. You got to buy this. You got to buy it. This is totally outside the goal. This is $12.49. Add to it if you want it. Any questions about it? Limited time offer. I've discounted it way down if people want to join. Now, if you're going to join, put your name and email in here where we make sure you get invited to that class tonight at 9 o'clock. Okay? If you're going to join. Tell me you're going to join. If all the existing members will get an email. This includes the existing members, but if you're all right, Roz, they'll get you in there. Good, good, good. Folks, take advantage of this. People in my futures know this is a bargain. Big bargain. 1 year. Never offered it this low, but I'm doing it tonight. We're going to take advantage of this market turmoil, right, David? I'll teach those 3 simple steps tonight. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take advantage of it. Neil said, this is a gift. I just joined for an extra year. Way to go, Neil. Smart. David just joined for another year. Wow. These are existing players saying this is too good to pass up. I got it. Join, 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 join. Any other questions? Everybody's going to know the T-Buzz 3-step at 9 o'clock. Don't worry, if you don't have a futures account, you'll have one in the next couple of days at Tasty Trade. You'll be able to take advantage of it this week. Simple, it's straight, it's easy to understand. Way to go. Good way to go. Anybody got any other questions for me? Way to go, Miles. I mean, they know how good it is. This is unbelievable I did it. I just felt like market turmoil. I went through the crash of 1987. This is where the value proposition, the cream rises to the top on a week like this is going to be. We're going to take advantage of it. That's exactly what we're going to do. You've asked me that question 10 times. Did you join my futures? Well, join my futures. I know the exact number. Exact number. Too valuable. You need about $2,000, okay? Lesson 18. Roger Sessions, one of my futures, a doctor out of Texas, just said he can't wait to do the 3-step. You're going to love what I've done. I've simplified the whole process to a time and what to look for. You like that, Roger? This is for people to put on in the evening and let it go. Absolutely. That number's lesson 18 there, lesson 18 is the number you're looking for. Don't trade this market without understanding futures. I don't care if you trade futures, but learn what futures are telling you and the message they're telling you, okay? That's what you got to do. You got to learn. Roger says, you better wake up to this opportunity. You never saw me offer it this cheap, did you? Yeah, James, we'll share the slides to you. We'll definitely do that. All right, so here's the plan. You'll get an email. No, I tell you what, go into the Futures First Telegram channel, okay? And we'll post the link for the Zoom in there to have the meeting at 9, okay? That'd be the easy way to do it. At 9 o'clock, we'll post it, and that way you can be in there. You got to go to the Telegram channel, Futures First. We'll let you in there, and then we'll go from there. All right, see you. I'm going to that room right now to make sure everything is good. That's the Telegram channel, Futures First. Folks, if you don't think I'm ready for this week, you don't know me. I've been working on this for 40-something years. Yeah, you can use that. That's no problem. Look, the only reason I recommend the Tasty Trade for people that's never traded futures is easy to understand. Lynette, did you talk to Roe like I told you? You got to take it upon yourself when I told you that. You got to follow through. Yeah, like Tony's going to sign up, but he won't stay in Schwab. I'm fine with that. That's no big deal. You got to be there. Lynette, he was traveling down here, okay? He was traveling down here. He'll get on it tonight. He'll get an email to you. How's that? Adam, make sure Roe gets that thing from Lynette. She asked on Friday afternoon. All right, if you're in my class tomorrow here in Ponte Vedra Beach, the Futures First, that's the best program you want to add to do better than any program I got. Learn this futures market. We'll get started at 8:30 tomorrow morning. 8:30 tomorrow morning. Adam said he wanted, can we replay this for everybody? And then I'll start at 9:30. You want to do it that way? Adam, do you want to do it that way? Replay it and then I'll start at 9:30? Yeah, Debbie, it's in its own Telegram channel called Futures First. I didn't get an answer from Adam. Did anybody?